Welcome in this video, Xcn coin, price stuck, when will it explode? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and please watch to the end to understand. The falling trend line that I showed in detail in the previous video is being tested by the price again today. This downtrend line has been weighing on the price for quite some time now, and it has been a strong resistance to price action a couple of times in the past, suppressing the upside. At the moment, the price seems to have approached this critical trend line again, and even made a slight contact with it. How it reacts after this contact will be crucial for the direction of the short-term movements ahead. If the price manages to break above this falling trend line, a very important technical hurdle will have been crossed, which could potentially trigger the start of a strong bullish wave. This is because falling trends are often a tangible reflection of the selling pressure the market is under. Breaking these lines to the upside is an important indication that sellers are now weakening and buyers are starting to take over the market. In addition, such a breakout also creates a positive psychological mood in the market and generally increases the appetite for buying. At this stage, when the price is struggling with this resistance, volume movements are also very important. If we see a significant increase in trading volume at the time of the breakout, we can say that this breakout will be healthier and more reliable. Otherwise, a breakout with weak volume may increase the likelihood of a fake breakout, that is, a fake breakout. However, when we look at the current chart structure, we observe that the price has come to this trend line more strongly and decisively compared to previous contacts. This is another positive signal pointing to a higher probability of a breakout this time. If this breakout occurs, we can say that the price will experience a significant relief in the short term and may start a rapid climb toward the next resistance levels ahead. After such downtrend breakouts, the price usually tends to move back towards the previous highs. In this context, it is quite possible that after the breakout, the price may accelerate towards the target levels we identified above. There is also a common phenomenon in technical analysis. When hard downtrends break, the psychology of traders changes rapidly. Those who have been sellers in the market until now close their positions or switch to the buyer's side when the trend breaks. At the same time, new investors enter the market after seeing the trend break. This multiplies the buying pressure and causes the price to rise faster. That's why a possible breakout right now is so important. Of course, as always, it's important to be patient and get clear confirmation of a breakout. Sometimes prices may touch the trend line and bounce back or make small deviations. For this reason, traders should not get carried away by emotions but should calmly evaluate technical signals. If we see a close above the trend line, especially on important time frames such as the close of the day, it will be a much stronger confirmation of the breakout. To summarize, the price is currently at a very critical stage. It has touched the falling trend line again, which has been suppressing it for a long time, and its reaction at this point is of great importance. If a strong breakout occurs, this will give a significant impetus to the price action and activate a scenario that will allow us to target much higher levels on the chart. But we need to look not only at trends, but also at other metrics. Stay tuned. When we take a look at the chart, we can see that a rather remarkable pattern has formed. At the moment, price action is trapped in a classic pennant pattern. Pennant patterns represent a short-term respite and recovery in the market, especially after a sharp rise or fall. In this chart, we can clearly see that after a significant rally beforehand, the price action is trapped in a narrow area, forming a pennant. Currently, the price is almost at the end of the narrowing trend lines that form the pennant. In other words, there is almost no room for maneuver inside the pennant anymore. In such situations, it is inevitable that the price will either break sharply to the upside or experience a downward unwinding. However, given the current market structure and the previous bullish momentum, the possibility of an upside breakout is technically much more likely. Due to the nature of pennant structures, the price squeezes and the power struggle between buyers and sellers intensifies. Especially in the final sections, this power struggle results in a breakout. At the moment, the price is in such a position that it remains to be seen which direction will be decided within a few candles. If the price breaks the pennant to the upside, the first target of this move is usually equivalent to the high of the main bullish move before the pennant. This shows that there is a very strong bullish potential. In particular, a possible breakout of the pennant to the upside could mobilize a large number of technical traders. This is because pennant patterns are taken very seriously by market participants and usually produce sharp movements in the direction of the breakout. If the trading volume also increases at the time of the breakout, we can easily say that this rise could accelerate even more. In such a scenario, the price may soon break through important resistance levels and start targeting higher highs. On the other hand, If the price breaks the pennant to the downside, of course, we should be prepared for that as well. However, looking at the overall trend of the chart and the direction of the pattern before the pennant, we see that the probability of an upside breakout is stronger. Pennant patterns usually break in the direction of the main trend at the beginning of the pattern. This paints an optimistic picture for us. Another important consequence of this squeeze is that volatility will increase significantly. With the end of the squeeze, sudden and sharp movements may occur. Therefore, traders are strongly advised to use risk management tools such as stop losses. Because although technical analysis shows us possible scenarios, you should always be open to surprises in the market. To summarize, we now have a very clear pennant pattern. The price is now squeezed almost to the end of the pennant's boundary lines, and the moment of decision is approaching. At this stage, it is very important to be patient and take a position according to the breakout direction. If an upside breakout occurs, it is very likely that we will see the beginning of a new uptrend on the chart. This pennant breakout is very important to follow. When we take a detailed look at the RSI indicator, we see a very remarkable structure. There is currently a distinct downtrend on the RSI. This downtrend line works like a resistance zone that RSI encounters and cannot overcome in every bullish attempt. When we look at past price action, the RSI has approached this falling trend line several times, and in some of its attempts, it even looked like it almost broke it. But each time it failed to overcome this resistance and retreated. In its last contact, we saw a similar picture. The RSI again moved up to this falling trend line, but failed to break above this critical trend line due to lack of momentum and strength. This contact shows that the buyers in the market have not yet fully gathered strength, and the sellers still have a certain degree of dominance. But the important thing is that the RSI continues to touch this falling trend line, because each contact weakens the trend relative to the previous attempt, and eventually this pressure will break and start a new move. Breaking downtrends, especially in an indicator that measures momentum like the RSI, can also herald important breakouts on the price chart. So if the RSI breaks this downtrend strongly on its next contact, it will signal not only a change in the RSI, but also an upside breakout in the price. Therefore, how the RSI reacts to this trend line in the coming days is critical. At the moment, there is a kind of squeeze and power gathering process on the RSI. Usually, such structures are followed by strong moves. If the RSI breaks firmly above the trend line in one of the upcoming attempts, it would mean that buyers are in full control of the market. With such a breakout, we could see a significant acceleration on both the RSI and the price chart. A breakout of the RSI above the trend line is directly reflected in the price action and generates a strong buy signal for traders. Especially if the trading volume increases during the RSI breakout, it supports the permanence and strength of this movement. In such a scenario, the price can more easily break through resistance zones and quickly transition to an uptrend. In addition, the RSI breaking the downtrend creates a psychological relief in the market and causes traders to take bolder positions. This is another important factor supporting the uptrend. In short, the downtrend we are currently observing on the RSI is one of the biggest obstacles to the price's upside potential. However, this obstacle is getting weaker with each contact. At the next touch, if the RSI can break above this trend, it will not only be a technical breakout, but also a harbinger of a new bullish wave. Yes, friends, I hope you liked the video. If you subscribe to my channel and like the video, more videos will be coming. Be careful in your investments, analyze the risks correctly, and always take strategic steps. I will be with you with different analyses, investment opportunities, and technical information in my videos. I wish you all a lot of profit. See you soon.